Today, as ever, we were tasked with looking at art. Before we could even begin, we had to define for ourselves what art truly meant. Istanbul, a city in contradictions, seemed like the perfect place to embark upon this journey. The city is still connected to its past. At times I wonder if the two cities, the Istanbul today and the Istanbul, Byzantium, and Constantinople of yesterday, aren't too dependent upon each other. The history here is inescapable and undeniably beautiful, but at times it feels like the modern city is drowning in its past. It has embraced Western values, and our consumerist culture is on display throughout the city, even if its broken past weighs around its neck like a noose. Art is dead, or so the city seems to claim. Consume more, buy more, do more, signs shoot out in their garish colors. Do this and you will find happiness. Sure, some will be left behind, but clearly they have been judged to be expendable. After all, if art is dead in our postmodern world, and humans create art, then isn't the human dead as well? Or if not dead, perhaps no longer existing as we once did. Art reflects the essence of its creator, so perhaps it is not surprising that people line up to see broken statues and faceless figures. Their nothingness and their brokenness must speak at some fundamental level to the brokenness in their souls. We move at a frantic pace, constantly, never pausing to wonder where we are going or why we are going there. We run because we are afraid not to, with no real destination in mind. We are caged in and we don't even know it. How can we know why the caged bird sings if we don't even know why we are slaves to ourselves? But the world lies. Art is not dead, and perhaps we are not either. What art is meaningless. Why is something that is dead, stiff, and static special? How could this ever have had meaning? Is something in a museum art because old dead white men have deemed it so? Is something in the real world art because it is precious and delicate, and ultimately of no concern to us? After all, flowers die after the spring. Of what importance could they be to us? And yet, of what importance could we be to a creature like the sun? How petty our disputes must seem. How brief and pointless our short lives. How can our lives be any more precious than that of the flower? How can art have meaning? Because it comes from us, and we give it worth. Art has no meaning, it is not given. Art comes from us, and it is us. Art is only ever as dead as we are. Even as it speeds past us, we can define it and give it meaning. We must not be afraid to look at our own mortality in the face. We cannot run from art because we are afraid to define it, and in defining it, define ourselves. Art is vibrant, art is colorful, art is moving, art is bland, art is boring, art is alive, and art is us. Life is a journey and must constantly be redefined, because sometimes you're walking through a random dark restaurant of despair, wondering where you'll end up, and suddenly you're walking into a courtyard filled with spring, only to find out that you can't stop to enjoy it after you've death marched the past 3 miles in 30 minutes, or that you have to walk to the docks at 9 p.m. at night to buy tickets for a 7 a.m. ferry tomorrow. But maybe realizing this isn't enough. Even if we give art meaning, it is not enough. Maybe there is no meaning, or maybe the only meaning is doing absurd amounts of work for no discernible point. Maybe you can overthrow oppressive regimes of power with your yeses, but probably there is nothing. Hey everyone, this is just kind of the director's cut. Just wanted to make sure everything was clear and that you got everything out of the video that you were supposed to, the full summary of the day. That was pretty clear what we were going for, but never pays to double check and all that. So anyway, we had the morning off, which was nice. We had some time to relax. We got to hang out on the roof. Just got a nice terrace up there. Bunch of construction workers on the roof across from us. I wonder what it would be like to be them, just get away from everything, do that for a little bit. It'd probably be cool, but we're here, so we're doing our thing. We left at noon to go to a museum to look at some Byzantium stuff, and it was on the other side of town, so actually to get there we had to cross the Galata Bridge, which is enormous, and these guys were fishing off of it with these huge fishing rods, and they had their bait fish swimming in the buckets beside them, and they're just floating there in the sun, and like at first we thought they were just using dead fish, But then we would see them just kind of flop around a little bit and like keep swimming. They just had these fish in their buckets on this giant bridge. But you know they're doing their thing, so I guess that's good for them, right? Then we went and saw an exhibit on Byzantine era medicine. Basically, yeah, you know, the long and short of that is that you should probably not get sick during the Byzantine period because you're not going to have a good time. And we also looked at some more modern stuff at the museum there. Like we looked at this one piece by I forget his name, but the lines were like really cool. Just the way that he crafted the human figure, and it was neat to see. Sorry, I thought I heard something there. Yeah, I don't know. Um, but yeah, so we finished up with that museum, and then we kind of ran back to the archaeological museum because we thought it might close early, but then it ended up being open till 5. We got to spend some time there. Had a few nice pieces. I really liked some of their Islamic tiles and ceramics. But you know, after the British Museum, you know, we were pretty spoiled, so it wasn't the greatest stuff we had seen. But you know, we were split into groups and we chose 10 pieces to kind of like pretend to exhibit. We had like a fake display we got to set up, and we went back to the hotel to chill a little bit. And okay, yeah, I think the people next to us have a dog or something. This is crazy. Um, but yeah, then Potsy and I got to walk back to the docks to buy us tickets for the ferry we're going to take tomorrow. We're going to Core Church, which, you know, would probably be fun. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it.